The Indianapolis Colts have a new head coach. They hired Jeff Saturday. Let's go back to press conference land. This was the first question of the press conference where Jeff Saturday, who was not even on the Colts coaching staff, was introduced by Jim Irsay, a rather infamous owner in the NFL circles. This is pretty awesome.
But no coaching in college, no coaching in the NFL. How did you get to this point where you offered him the job? And did you offer the interim role to anybody else?
It's an intuitive decision. When I hired Tony Dungy, it was done very methodical. You operate like the CIA. It's very analytical. It's very unemotional. It's very, very methodical with in-depth experience and knowledge and trying to get the feeling for what's right. Then I wanted a winning coach, a winning playoff coach, a winning coach that was proven to come in with our franchise.
So those are all qualifications that you'd want out of a coach, right? Jim Irsay continued.
Now, I'm glad he doesn't have any NFL experience. I'm glad he hasn't learned the fear that's in this league.
What the fuck are you talking about? I'm glad he has no experience. Look, it's one thing to bring in an interim head coach and say, fuck it, let's see what happens, which is what the Colts are doing. Honestly, if there is a way to introduce a coach that's got zero experience, this is, I think, the way to go about it. Maybe the Texans should have taken a page or two out of it last year when they fired David Culley. How about, I don't know, firing him a little bit earlier? If you like Josh McCown, give him a chance as the interim guy at that moment in time. Wasn't he an assistant coach on the staff? This is how you do it. Now, maybe you want to have a guy in Saturday who actually was on the coaching staff as opposed to coaching some random small high school. But all-time spin zone to say that I'm glad about this. You're not glad about this. You would like to have Frank Reich still as your head coach. You wish Matt Ryan would have worked out a little bit better. Irsay's got his hands all over this team. He's a bit messy in life. He's a bit messy here. Don't spin zone it. Come on. You're better than that. We don't know how this is going to play out. But since he's an interim head coach and he's taking over a staff that's worked for Frank Reich, the odds of that staff falling in line with Saturday, I suppose they got nothing to lose. I suppose they have to show their best. Otherwise, they might end up getting fired at the end of the year. Here's Jim Irsay some more.
That's because it's tough for all our coaches. They're afraid. They go to analytics, and it gets difficult. I mean, he doesn't have all that. He doesn't have that fear.
That fear, interesting line. I think I know where he's going with there. Maybe it's more a tendency to be conservative is what he's saying on that front. That he can just go out there and say, fuck it. He's not part of traditional NFL coaching staffs. Maybe it does work out from that perspective. Like, I don't hate the idea of this direction by the Colts. I just think that the way that Jim Irsay does everything always comes off a little bit comedic.
And there was no other candidate. We were fortunate that he was available. And he has tons of experience. He knows this game inside and out with relationships with coaches and players. And has been a consultant for us for several years, a paid consultant, informing Chris and I and other people in the organization, his opinions. So to me, I know people can, look out and see it and ask that question, but, that doesn't surprise me. I understand. I don't know how to make sausage. I don't know what goes into sausage, but I do know how to build a football team.
Does he know how to build a football team? Or does he know how to have Peyton Manning and then Andrew Luck as the quarterbacks of said football team? Here is more Jim Irsay, and this quote is just, this one's a doozy. Now let's go back to the picture-in-picture again.
We're the fourth winningest franchise in the league since 2000. All right, that means in the upper quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile. That's rare. We're the fourth winningest franchise in the league since 2000. All right, that means in the upper quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile.
in the top quartile of winners, we're in the top quartile of that upper quartile. It's Jim Irsay, everybody. Jim Irsay.